So let's talk about the value. You cannot change the value, but in the var you can change the value. And types of valid var are implied, so you do not explicitly mention the types. And if you want to define the type, if you can mention the type, it's good. If it is not, then it's fine. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's say I am declaring val a is equal to 100, val, so I cannot change the value. So next slide, if I am typing a is equal to 300, this will going to give me the error. But if you see var b is equal to 400 and I am typing b as 500, now the b values become 500. So where we are able to change the value. And next thing is that you have not seen the type as well. So in the var b we don't know whether it's int or string. So let's say if I am going to give b is equal to hello, it will going to give me the error. Okay, we can change the values, but the type should be the same. Okay, the next thing is if you type val is equal to 400, which is int, okay, and explicitly you can mention a colon int. So this is how we define the variables or the types in the Scala. Okay, so after colon we need to define the data types. And similar way when we do with the val a double, okay, so a is double now, which is 400.0. Similarly, if you do val a is equal to 400 colon double, so this again is the correct format. You can either give on the left side or on the right side. So but you cannot okay, yeah. So if I am giving it as val c is equal to b, which is hello, comma a, so for concatenation I am using plus, so it will give me the hello, comma 100. Okay, so this is the output. Hello friends, this is welcome to the master course of Scala. Okay, so let's get started. So for that one you need to install the Scala. So what you need to do is you need to before installing Scala you need to have the Oracle JDK. Okay, you can go to this site, which is oracle.com, and from here you will going to download the Java 8. Okay, once you have this Java 8 JDK 8 versions, so you can choose which operating system you have. So based on that you can install it. Then next you need to install the Scala. So you will need to go to this location, scalalong.org. You can see the download option, and once you download the latest version, so for me it's showing 2.11.7, and you can choose the Scala version 3 as well. And for Mac OS you need to install the brew, and once you have the brew installed, you can run this brew install Scala, and this will going to install your Scala in your Mac machine. And for the Linux, what you need to do is you need to do sudo apt get install Scala. Okay, so once you have this, you will be able to run your Scala program. Okay, thank you. So let's talk about the Scala. So Scala is a language which offer both object oriented and the functional programming. Okay, and so if you see the positive of Scala, like the type inferencing, so you don't need to give the types explicitly, like integer or character, string, anything. It will automatically understand your type, whatever you are passing. And the next thing is the static typing. So similar way, it's a static typing, you don't need to type much. Okay, and the other positive of Scalas are that it provide the pattern matching. Okay, case statement which you say, clean syntax, short and concise. Okay, provide the API. Currying we will talk later. I mean, it's a function calling the other functions. Okay, partial functions and much more. Yeah. Thank you. So instead of the class we can define inside the method, and if a type is known at the class level, then it does not need to be declared at the method level. Okay, so let's take an example. So let's say we have box t of t, and we have defined the new method couple with, okay, with a u as a parameter. So this will going to give me the box of, okay, couple t comma u. Okay, straight
Is it fine? Yeah, so output will be box of couple of t comma u if we call the couple with. Okay, so if we are passing box of int and coupled with string, so the output will be box of couple of int comma string. Okay, so let's instantiate this. So the couple with is going to create an object of the box class. Okay, so in the box it will be couple of t comma u, okay, which we have already defined. So let's call this from this class, okay, box of 200, and in the box of 200 we will be calling the couple with string. So the output will be box of couple of int comma string. So if we call this couple dot string dot t, which is a box, okay, so this will give us the value of couple, and in the couple if we write first, which is a parameter, it will give the output as an int. Okay, for the second it will give the output as string, right, string, and above that we have int. So we have swap method couple of a comma b. We can define it a new couple second comma a. It will just swap the parameters. So new couple dot swap, if we do, okay, so we'll talk about the case class. So case class we usually use. So what the the benefits of case class is that we don't need to write the equivalent to string and hash code method. Okay, we can instantiate with the new keyword, but that's not required. And also it's helpful in the pattern matching, we will going to see later. And if we put the case in front of a class, it becomes a case class. Okay, so let's take an example quickly. So let's say we want to create an the case class as department. Okay, so here we have written the case in front of the class. Okay, so this has become the department. Okay, case class of the department, and we don't need to define any val and anything. It will automatically going to create the objects for us, and also the getters and setters. Okay, so if we call new department twice, and if we call twice, okay, so this will give us the department twice. Okay, so it will automatically going to create the object for us. Okay, with new department. Okay, here I am using a new, but in the other thing, if let's say if I do twice is equal to twice 2, so this is the case class, so it already has the equals method, so it will return the true. Okay, see, it has turned the true. So hash codes are equal, yes, the hash codes are also equal. Let's say if I am going to copy the twice dot copy, okay, so it also work. Okay, and now the other thing is, if we want to override the toString method, so that also we can do. Okay, so department colon the name which we are passing from here. Okay, so this will go into department colon name is coming up is here. Okay, other thing is the pattern matching. So this twice an department object matches. Now we will write we have to write the case. Okay, so here we are using the case as department of any name. If name is came, it will return the n. Okay, so whatever the object, let's say department twice will come here, the output would be twice here, and if it is other than that, it will be written the unknown. Okay, so let's say, so what we did is we just wrote the println name, okay, for twice. So twice is nothing but the twice, so it matches with the department twice, so it will return the twice. Okay, so this is the output twice. Other than that, see here you can see, right, and in the twice I am passing it as an object, okay, to the department class with the name 2, and if I print the name 2, this will going to print the same way. Okay, so twice is nothing but a department of twice, it will going to come in the department. Okay, and if I print along the name 2, it will going to print the value of that department. Okay,
in this video we will talk about the constructors. So in the constructors,
It is set up state.
we
That's the
do
parentheses. Is the
let's say
primary
employee
constructor.
class. Okay, and in the employee class we are defining the bean property with val first name and last name, and I am including the third variable. Okay.
Here we use the keyword new to instantiate the
so
employee, and we're
this
giving
is
it
the,
two items, Ada
object
and
for
Lovelace,
creating an
both
employee.
strings. The first one's
Okay,
the first
this
name,
that
second
will be,
one's the last. This in turn calls the because of immutability primary constructor. Second one's the last
okay.
name. And this in turn calls
So
the primary
now what we're
constructor.
going to do is
Now
we
we
will
know
create a
that
new
because of
variable.
immutability, everything must be called in
going
the
to create a new
primary or
variable,
no excessive
which is,
field for the employee.
I'll say
This line
title.
right here will cause an error
And,
because we're giving it
so
two
this
items,
is
two
the object of the
strings.
employee class.
Problem is now,
And
because we
here,
added the title, we have
let's say
three
if I-
items on the primary constructor. Two items being given,
If I don't
and here
do anything,
we have
okay, for,
three items.
in,
So
at the time
let's
of
save
instantiation,
this,
I'm keeping
compile
only
it,
two
and
variables,
prove that we get
and the
an error.
third variable
First we will
is
compile
the
our
title, which I'm
employee.scala.
not passing.
Now we will
So if I
run
run
our
that
script.
employee
We get a
script,
no
it will going
such
to give me
method
the
error because
error.
our script is looking for
Okay.
employee,
Because employee
a
has
constructor
three objects,
that takes two strings,
three
but
parameters,
it does not exist.
and
If we don't want to affect other people's
but the
code, we can
employee
add
class
another
has
constructor,
three,
an ancillary
three
constructor to
parameters, but I'm
maintain the
passing only two
interface
parameters.
that others
Okay, to
expect.
resolve this,
So let's go back
what
to
I
our
can
code.
do
Now,
is
auxiliary or
I can
ancillary,
define
those
this method,
the primary
okay.
constructor with
So
that
first
first
name,
name
last name,
and
and
with
I'll
what
pass
looks
the,
like a method named this. This is no method, it's
programmer as
another
the,
constructor. We create an employee
default
of the
attribute
constructor
for the
except
title.
those parameters that
So
are
now if I
constructed
run
auxiliary
this,
constructor. One of the
it will
more
going to
indirect
compile
and
without any
what-
error. Okay.
Now it's worth noting that
Without
the
pressing
constructor can be
and the
written
programmer's
differently. Well, we
without any
constructors.
error.
For
Now
example,
there are multiple
I'm going to
formats
comment
of
this
it.
out and rewrite it
We
in
can define in the curly
with
braces
a
as
block.
well.
This isn't too out of
if I
the
want
ordinary.
to
Let's save it
do
and
like
let's give it a
multiple
try
print
once again.
statements,
Works
okay,
out great.
so that
Let's
I
go back
can
to
do
the
in
code.
the
Now, what's great about the block is
inside
that
the
you
method
could do so
in the curly
with a
braces.
line in
Okay,
the
so this
same
is the
line.
first one.
I could use a
Third one
semicolon.
is,
Warning that a call to
let's say
this
if I'm doing
needs
the
to be
print
done
side
first.
effects.
So let's off,
Okay.
and also
So
we
this
have
will going
this.
to
You're
print
going
the
to
side
have,
effects
and the call to
without
this
any error.
first call if you're going
if
to
you look
have
at it,
other lines
side
within
effect
that
has been
constructor.
printed.
Let's
Okay.
the second line.
Next,
The
if I
compiler
do
will
the
not
println
allow
first and
this.
then the
Let's go
this,
back to our command
it will
line.
going to give me the
This
error.
will say error to our correct. Or an
It
equal
should be a
sign.
print
I
statement
prefer it
after,
because
should
it
be
is
after this
convention.
statement.
So the first couple
And,
and try with the side
another
compile
format would
and run
be,
it. Running the script. Let's
I'll
see how
say-
this works.
Yeah.
Saved it. Combine with the side effect. This time though without an equals. Save the
without
file.
an equal.
Compile
Okay,
and
so
run
if I'm
the
doing
script.
without an equal,
See,
this
everything
is also
works great.
within-
Now I'm a sucker
run
for
without any error.
there are three
Okay.
emphasizing
So
a few
that's an
points.
advantage of,
One
using
is
the,
that the line here, this one that
def
I'm
and
showing
the
you,
this method
is the typical form.
and the-
This is
which is
what
the
you'll
constructor only.
mostly see from Java
So we'll meet in
programming.
the
Examples
next
just to
video.
show you.
Yeah, for subclassing, we use the extend keyword similar to Java that has a is a relationship. Okay, so let's see how we will do the subclassing in the Scala. So I have created two classes. One is the department class having the variable name, and the manager having the parameters of first name, last name, and the title. and the department as a class. I'm using the extend keyword and I'm extending the employee class with first name, last name and the title. Okay, so I'm writing the val okay, so in front of, I can write in front of all, but I'm using for the department right now. Okay, now if you see, this class is extended. Now if I create the new employee class, okay, so I can create the other class as well. Let's say the department class has mathematics, so new department mathematics and a manager with first name, last name, okay, and other attributes, and then the department is mathematics. So if I call Alan, which is the manager dot department, okay, and dot it will give me the object of the department. Okay, so department mathematics will going to come. So if I do the name, it will give me the mathematics. Okay, so mathematics is printed. Now I can give the type as well in the Alan as a manager, and let's say in the employee typecast I can give the value for the manager. Okay, I mean for the subclassing as we used to do in the Java. So this parent class can hold the object of the child class, which is true here. Okay, so if I give the first name Alan dot first name, so we here in the manager class we have not defined the variable, okay, for the first name. So Alan, for the employee class we have the first name. Let's see what the output we will gonna get. Okay, so this is the Alan. Okay, I will have to change it. So this is not giving any error. You can see ada is printed. Yeah, because we do have the parameters. Okay, we do have the parameters in the employee class, that's why val and where we have defined. Okay, so this is the, let's say if I am creating a method of the extract first name, and it will going to have the e dot first name as an input. So e dot first name is, so extract first name, so this employee object will gonna come, and what it will do is it will return the e dot first name. Correct.
Let's talk about the parameterized types, okay, which uses the square bracket, just like in the method. Okay, parameterized type are managed by the type system. You have as many parameterized type on a class as needed. Okay, they can be multiple parameterized types. So let's take an example. Okay, so so let's say I have a box T class. Okay, and there is a parameter T with T. So if a T is an int, okay, so it will, the box will contain box of int. Okay, similarly I'll write the full method, and here if I am creating the box of 1, okay, new box 1, so it will be an int, so it will create the int box, will have the box of int. Okay, and yeah, okay, and if I do box 1 of box int, right, so this also we can do. So this is called the coercion box. Okay, box of int, we are defining the type. Okay, the other way is box 3 dot t. Okay, so if we call this t, which is nothing but an int, we will get the output, because this is a case class. So we can directly define it without defining the var and val in the parameter. So this way we are getting the output. Now what we can do is we can define the new type, which is a string. So box string of hello. Okay, we can define the manager as well, so it will become the box of manager. Okay, so instead of the manager we are passing the employee, which is again fine because employee is an manager is a type of employee. Okay, now if I do box of 4.0, so that means the box of box will be the your parameterized type. Okay, so box of box of double. So if I call double box dot t will be the box, then inside the box we have again t, which is 4.0. Okay, the other way is so it will be double only. Now we are creating the another case class a comma b, first a comma b, and the output would be, so we have defined the new object for the couple. Okay, so couple 10 comma Scala, which contain the int comma string couple class 1 comma 2, that means couple will have string comma string. Couple hello comma couple, so it will contain the string of couple of int comma double. Okay, so okay,
So here you will going to install the once you have the Java and Scala installed in your system, what you need to do is you need to set up the environment. So this is Windows. You'll quickly go to this Windows and check what is the Java version it's showing. So if it is showing the Java G is not recognized, you need to set up the Java home in the environment variable. Okay, and for the similarly for the Scala you need to do the same. So let's quickly go to this environment variable. Okay, here if you see the environment variable, you need to click on new. Okay, and so on the system variable you need to click on new. So once you in the variable name you need to write the Java home. Okay, and the variable name is the path of the Java JDK location, so it's 1.8. okay, so before bin location you need to give, and once you set the Java home you need to set up the Scala home. Okay, so let's see where we have installed the Scala. So Scala is there in the program files. Okay, /Scala. So you have this location and just put it here, and you have set up the two variables for Scala and the Java. Okay, and this is the path, and the path you will set up the Java home as well as the Scala home. Okay, so once it's done you are ready, and if you check your Java version it should show the latest version of 1.8. okay,
All four pass. Everything looks good.
so in this video we will talk about the methods. Methods are used in class and have access to internal state. Method can also use default and name parameter for added functionality. Okay, so let's take this example. This employee class having the first name and the last name, and they have the title variable. So I'm creating a new method full name. Okay, so in the full name if you see, we are passing the def is the way we define the method. Full name is equal to first name and the last name. So you want to use the first name, so it will be string interpolation of the first name and string interpolation of the last name. We can use a this dot first name as well. here itself. So if you can see, if you run it, you will going to see the full name. Okay, so you can call this employee class dot full name. Okay, now if you see, I am creating another method which is change last name. Okay, passing the employee first name and last name. So if I call other dot change last name, okay, this passing the first name and last name, it will going to change the last name as the countless of Loveways. Okay, Lovelace. So I need to compile this class first, and once I did, I am able to see the actual results. Okay, next method we will have is copy method. In the copy method, we are passing the first name, last name, and the title. Okay, so first name will be this dot first name, last name will be this dot last name, and title would be dollar title, because it's already defined. Okay, or maybe it can be used with a this dot title as well. So if we are doing this way, it's fine. Okay, yeah, so if you can see, here is a dollar sign as well. Okay, so dollar sign can be used for the default methods. Okay, here if you want to run the simple Scala program, okay, so first you need to create a file, let's say introscript.scala. Okay, and once you go to this file intro script, okay, so if you write println Scala is an amazing concise. Okay, so if you need to run it, you need to use the Scala and then the file name .scala. Okay, so here you will get the Scala is an amazingly concise println. Okay, print, it will going to print that. And also if you want to run it using the sh, which is a script file, so let's say if I am creating the introscript.sh, which is a script file, and here I need to write the echo command, I mean exec Scala. Okay, execute Scala, and the first parameter and the next parameter, which is at the rate. Okay, and if you write the println something, then this will go into, so first initially you need to give the executable permission to this introscript.sh, and once you run it with /introscript.sh, it will go to print the Scala is a amazingly concise. Now we will talk about the string interpolation. So what the in string interpolation is that it performs the variable replacement and using s and f. Okay, let's take an example of the string interpolation. So let's say we have this val 99 and I'm using s as an interpolation, and in the bracket I'm using a. Okay, so which so if I run it like if ball floating in the summer sky, so how many number of balls? It should show as 99 love balloons floating in the summer sky. Okay, so with the curly braces and dollar sign, we can use the string interpolation. Okay, 99. Let's see if we can add some number on it. So let's say if I am adding $a plus so this is $a, right, without giving the curly braces, so it should also work. But let's say if I am doing $a plus 3, okay, so it should not work. Okay, it's showing the 99 plus 3 as an output. So if I want to join them, I need to put the brackets around them. Okay, like this. Okay, like this. So this is string interpolation. Let's start with the f1. So let's say we have ticket cost 50, band name psychedelic furs. Okay, and if I'm doing f interpolation band name, okay, with percentage s. Okay, then the ticket are probably so if what I want is I need to convert this into the float, okay, or the double with dollar sign.
So what I want is the band name tickets are probably dollar the number of tickets in the double format. So for the double format we need to write percentage 1.2f. okay, this will convert into the float, and double so this is the, so we need $3 because $1 is for the dollar, so we want to show the dollar, the ticket number like $50, and with a double so if we want to convert something into the any primitive type, so for that one we need the double dollar sign. okay, so let's run it. Okay, so I think the name is not correct, ticket cost. okay, so let's correct it, ticket cost. So now you can see first, okay, ticket are probably $50. okay, so if you see here, right, so let's take another example. Let's say percentage increase, we want to show the percentage, okay, 20%. So let's say the band name is changed, now new waves, ticket are probably, so $3 is for the converting into the float. okay, now what we are doing is in a new line percentage n, that's a percentage increase. okay, so 20% will come here, so double percentage means that means it will going to put the percentage sign after it. okay, so if you can see, so there is a 20% bump because everyone likes new wave. okay, now the better approach is we can use triple quotes, okay, after f, so it will work as the same thing. So that's an alternative. okay,
A lot of tools at our disposal.
Similar to Java, we have override, okay, in Scala as well. We have to add the keyword override, and so override method are created to change the implementation of the superclass method. okay, regardless of the reference, the correct method will be called. okay, so if the parent is keeping the reference of the child object, so the child method will be called if there is an override method. okay, so let's take an example here. So let's say in the manager class, okay, in the manager class I am adding this override full name. okay, so in the employee class we usually in the employee class we have three things, right, first name, last name and the title. Now I am adding the manager name as well in the full name. okay, so if I am adding it like the string interpolation, and if you see this is the yeah, so new Ada or the Dennis is the employee, and where is the manager? We don't have the manager here. okay, so let's create a manager, Alan as a manager. okay, manager name, first name, last name and the title and the department. okay, so let's take an example of the Alan as a manager, and if Alan is the manager, what we are doing is we are so we have the employee object, right, employee is the super class of the manager, so employee is keeping the manager. okay, which is fine. So Alan is the child, employee is the parent. okay, so if we call, let's call Alan dot first name, which is the manager's method, manager class method, and Alan employee dot first name, which is the employee first name method. So let me call them Alan dot full name and Alan dot employee dot full name. So Alan is the manager and Alan employee is the employee class. okay, dot full name. So let's see which one will get to be called. So Alan employee is keeping the reference of the manager. okay, so in both cases we are going to see the same output. okay, irrespective of the parent and class, because in the both cases we are calling the child method only. okay,
let's take another example of the copy. So this one, if we override the copy method, let's say, and if we are keeping the department name, okay, inside the manager, so if we call the copy method, it will going to call this copy method from the manager class similar way. So ln.copy, ln is the manager, okay, so we are calling the copy method of the manager with title, everything, supreme. So you can see supreme encryption dot specialist is getting called, okay. Yeah, so why? Because we are, so what we have printed, okay, let's go back and let's see. So what we are doing is we are calling the title only, okay, the title only, so that's why we are getting the title. Okay, yeah.
In this video we will talk about the bean factory. So in the bean factory it's used to create the getters and setters in the class. So what we will gonna do is we will look into the code basically. So what Java getter, we have seen the Java getters and setters, right? So we place the get and set in front of the method for all the variables. So if let's say if there is an age, so we will use the set age and get age, okay. So these two things we will gonna do. So this is a class person. Now similarly, if I take a look at the employee class which we have created in the previous video, this is having val first name and last name, and if I want to create the get first name and the set first name, I'll have to write the @bean property annotations which is there in the Scala.beans, and I'll place in front of the parameters, okay. So at the bean property val first name and val last name, okay, bean factory. So if I do Scala C employee.scala, and it will going to compile that class, and with the Java p minus p employee, this will going to give me the getters and setters, okay. So this is fine. See, this is the get first name, and you will get the get last name as well, okay. Yeah, get last name. Yeah, thank you. So similarly in the Mac, if you don't find the Scala and Java versions, so what you need to do is you need to go to the bash profile file, okay, vi.bash profile, and if you go inside this file, you need to set up the Scala home, okay. You need to check where you have installed your Scala. It should be mostly in the user folder. What you can do is Control Shift G, okay, and you can search for the Scala. Similarly, you need to add it into the path, okay, Scala home as well as the Java home. So again you need to do the source.bash profile, that will going to register your bash profile in the system in the terminal, okay. So every time if you open this terminal, you need to, if the Scala and the Java is not getting recognized, you need to run the source.bash profile, okay, every time. So if you see, the Java C version is showing up as well as the Scala version will going to show up, okay, because you have already added it to the bash profile or in the path. So if you want to pass a default parameter, as you can see in the title, string is equal to programmer, and then you don't need to define the this methods anywhere, okay, and it will simply run it without any issue, and you don't need to pass the extra parameter. So your employee scripts class will be the same, having the 2 parameter at the time of instantiation, and but for the employee class you are creating the default parameter as programmer. So apart from the positivity, we have negative as well. So Scala is very difficult to learn, and we didn't get the people easily, and the hiring would be too difficult. Other than that, if you look at the other things, which is backward compatibility, so here I'm talking about the versions. So you need to maintain the you need to maintain the versions of the Scala, and similarly you need to maintain their dependencies as well, dependency on the other libraries. So for example, if we take this akka actor library using the 2.10 Scala version, and the library itself is using 2.3.14 version. Okay, so if you go up with the Scala 2.11, you need to maintain the akka or actor version, which is 2.4.0. okay, so with every library there is a huge change in the dependency that you need to maintain, which is hard to maintain. Okay, so that's another disadvantage. Let's talk about the class structure. So the src folder should have the main Scala file, and class folder should have the class file. Okay, so let's say I'm creating the my app.scala, and in this file I am creating the employee object with two parameters, first name and the last name as a string, and second class I am creating is department class having the name string. So in the my app I am having the two classes, and if you see here, the department is something, it's in the parameter is a class, okay, object of the department. So once you're going to execute it, Scala myapp.class, it will going to create three classes: department class, employee class, and the myapp.scala. And if you see here, in the myapp.scala, it's creating the two classes, department class and the employee class. Okay, now if we go to the Java P, so if you see in the Java P dot minus P employee, okay, Java P will, what it will going to do is, it will going to show you the compiled format of the employee object. Okay, so here if you see the string comma string, so java.lang.string, these are the two parameters, and the department class is again a new parameter. Okay, so Java P is the command for showing the compiled format of the employee class or any class. Okay, and so I'm removing all the class here. Okay, so we have this mp my app.scala only. I'm creating the source folder and the class folder. Okay, so if you see, we have the source folder and class folder, but what I said is my app should go into inside this source folder, and the classes like department and employee will go into the class folder. Okay, so as you see, my app is there in the Scala folder. I moved it, and Scala C minus D, if you do Scala C minus D, it will going to create the classes for the whatever we have in the source folder. Okay, so Scala C minus D classes, and if you do the source, all the files in the source folder, it will going to create the classes for you, right? So in the classes, so minus D was the if you do Scala minus D classes is the folder location, and in that, and if you execute this, whatever we have in the source folder, it will going to create those classes. Okay, and once you do that, in the department, let's say if I'm doing the println, okay, so if you see, if you run this Scala source myapp.scala, it's going to show you the hello there. Okay, so it's working. So hello friends, आज हम लोग बात करेंगे, we will talk about the lazy. Okay, so lazy val, you have seen the lazy val or the lazy methods. Okay, so let's say if you are creating one variable lazy val a, okay, and in this bracket you are giving println,
evaluated and then 5. Okay, so with lazy val it won't execute till you call the value a, right? So it's not still executed. Okay, so once you write a, okay, then only it will going to be evaluated. Okay, so now it's evaluated. Now let's create a file and let's take another example. So let's say we are doing lazy where b is equal to 200. Okay, and so with where we cannot use the lazy, it will be used with the val only. So let's create a new file and let's say a is equal to 10 plus b and b is equal to 19 with all the values val. So this will going to give me the error because b is defined after a. Okay, and we are using early. Okay, now this b is using early. So what we're going to do is let's say, so this will be, yeah, so here you can see that b is giving the uninitialized value. Okay, because b is still not initialized. So what we need to do is we need to use the lazy val. Okay, so here if you see we are doing the lazy val a is equal to 10 plus b, and for the second line the lazy is optional. Okay, you can use it or not use it, and once you print ln a, it will going to print the correct value. Okay, like this 29, right? So let's move on to the other topic. And so there is another example. So let's say we are doing where divisor is equal to 0. Okay, so divisor is equal to 0. Now we are doing lazy val quotient 40 divided by divisor. Okay, lazy val, and once you do this, one second. Okay, so once you print ln the quotient, it will going to give with you the error. आज हम लोग बात करेंगे क्लासेस की. क्लासेस हमारी क्या होती हैं, एक ब्लूप्रिंट्स की तरह होती हैं. ठीक है, तो जैसे कि हमारा हो गया वैल हमने बनाया, वैर बनाया. ठीक है, तो वैल बेसिकली हमारा इम्यूटेबल के लिए हम लोग यूज़ करते हैं, राइट. एंड जो वैर होता है हमारा, वो हमारा म्यूटेबल के लिए यूज़ होता है, विच कैन बी चेंज्ड. ओके, एंड विद जावा पी वी कैन सी दी -p for seeing the bytecode of the file. Okay, so we will explore more about the classes. So let's say I am creating the employee class with first name and the last name, and on the so if I want to run it, I'll use the employee dot Scala class. So Scala C and the employee class will compile the class, and with the Java P I can run the code. Okay, so see, now you can see that class of the employee, and so with the Scala it will able to is compile and run. Okay, both the things. Now if you see, I have created the employee class with first name and the last name, and so let's say if I am calling this employee class, okay, from here new employee, okay, with the two parameters, the first name and the last name, and if I am printing it out, it will going to print me the, so cp is the current directory and the class name. So these are two ways we can compile and run the Scala class. So using Scala minus cp means it will going to see in the current directory, and the employee class employee script dot Scala, so this will going to give me the employee object. Okay, and now if I see, if I want to call the first name, so as dot first name, it will give me the error. Why? See, this is giving me the error, no such method. Why? Because we have not defined the where, okay, in front of these two methods. Okay, so this is what so if we give, so this is the error, right? So the
issue here is uniform access principle. So what it says that the uniform access principle state that variable and parameterless method should be accessed using the same syntax. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go to the employee class. Okay, I'll go to the employee class and add val in front of both the parameters, and this will going to give me the employee class object. Okay, so adder dot first name will be returning the first name without any error. Okay, so this is the thing with the classes.